Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge. It's Aston Villa in Paris. Paris Saint-Germain against Aston Villa, Champions League live. Watch along on That's Football with me, Mark Goldbridge. Let's hope we get the same or even close to the same drama that we got last night in London. I was in London today. We're in London, aren't we? We're not in London, we're in Paris. It's the French version of London. It's their capital city. Never been, not really that bothered about going there either. Oh, actually, well, I will. I wouldn't mind. Oh, anyway, it's not bloody tour with Goldbridge. I wouldn't mind going to Paris, but it's not top of my list, basically. There we go. Anyway, either or, Emi Martinez or Donnarumma as your penalty shootout goalkeeper, says Jamie. Well, I think that's a great one. Who on penalties? I'll get this going straight away. Martinez, Donnarumma. I mean, look, he's turned up in Paris with a cap that's got taken the piss out of France, hasn't he? Because they beat them in the World Cup. Team news is going around the screen. Marcus Rashford does start, which is exciting. It is exciting, you know. Again, we've had this whole Onana Matic fallout. I loved it. I love a bit of bloody personality. I love a little bit of drama. And Marcus Rashford starting down the middle for I mean, this is interesting. As a Man United fan, I don't think he's that good down the middle. I really don't. Prince William's just given Marcus Rashford a hug. He's a Villa fan. Not Rashford, Prince William, the literal Prince of England. William, he's there hugging Villa fans, Villa players, because he's a Villa fan. Don't know why. I'd love to get him in a chat about football, talking about formations and tactics. He's there, look, he's shaking someone else's hand. I wonder if they all know who he is. Well, Mings is going to love it. He's English. He'll be like, oh, Prince William. Give me some skin, brother. That was Ross Barkley. Anyway, boring. It's football, not royal. Not the monarchy. Anyway, Aston Villa, Martinez in goal. Cash, Konza, Torres, Digne, Tielemans, Kamara, McGinn, Rodgers, Ramsey, Rashford. If you got that the wrong way around, it sounds bad. Ramsey, Rodgers, Rashford. Yeah, that's what I thought I'd done, but I had done it the right way the first time and then did it anyway. Asensio's on the bench. Barkley's on the bench. Matson's on the bench. Desarce's on the bench. Onana, Mings, Watkins is on the bench as well. But PSG, how are they lining up? Donnarumma, Mendes, Pacho, Beraldo, Hakimi, Ruiz, Vitina, Neves, Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, Doué. I mean, this is a bloody good side. I didn't forget that Kvaratskhelia signed for PSG, but yeah, obviously we saw him against Liverpool, but they're a good side, PSG. They're a likeable side, I think, now. Now that they've got rid of the high-profile players and built a team, they are a likeable side. And again, the strength of them is in their bench. You look at it, Emery, Ramos, Kang In, Kimpembe, Hernandez, Barcola. It's a good side, and it's going to be a good tie. I feel it. I thought Arsenal would get... why are you saying the names with a French accent? Can't remember when David Moyes was managing in Spain, and he used to speak in English with a bit of Spanish accent. He'd go, Iramendi. You know. Tonight you were going to see Barca 2. Thought you were going to watch Barca 2. I can put Barcelona on as well. That's not actually an issue. I'd forgotten about that, but we can certainly get it on. Let's get it on. Good idea. Why not? I've got the tech to do it. That's what I say. May as well bloody well do it. You know? May as well bloody well do it. That's what I say. Let's go. Barcelona against Dortmund. There we go. And let me make you small so I can see you there. You go small there. That's easy. That's how it's that simple. It is that simple. That was a lot simpler than I thought. It really is that simple. Happy days. Yeah, we've got Dortmund against... that game is in Germany. No, but it's in Spain. I don't know why Barcelona are having to play their first. I actually, I don't want to be boring here and actually talk about football, but I actually don't think it's fair that Arsenal have to play away second leg in a quarter-final when they finished well in the groups in the league, at the Champions League stage, and I don't think it's fair that Barcelona have to play second leg away when they did well in the Champions League stage as well. I just think that people are struggling to come to terms with the validity of an expanded Champions League stage. So if you're going to make it, integral, why don't you just say the teams that finish in the top 8 will get priority going into the draw will be swayed towards them, basically. So if they get through, they avoid each other in the quarterfinals, which can't happen. Top 4. Do it with the top 4. Basically make it that the top 4 in the Champions League stage avoid each other in the quarterfinals and will be home second leg. Yamal is going to score a hat-trick today, says Mohammed, and Villa or Arsenal are dark horses for me, mate, says Fit for Bitcoin. I did actually have another thought. PSG could be anti-English, and what I mean by that is they knock out Liverpool, they now knock out Villa, then they knock out Arsenal. They could do a hat-trick of English scalps. But I'd love to see an English semi-final because that means we get an English team in the final. But I'm not writing Villa off. But they've got to be in the game for the second leg. Yeah? And what worried me about PSG is what they did to Liverpool in Paris. And I know it ended up, was it 1-0 to Liverpool? But they were very good. They were very good in Paris. And watching Forest against Villa in the second half on Saturday, the amount of chances they created. Now, I know there was a bit of rotation, but Villa are going to have to defend well. I think Europe's about defending well, and that is not. I don't think that's Villa's strength. I think their strength is attacking, and that's where this game will be won and lost. How well can they defend? Crazy FIFA Goal says, I play EAFC. Can I connect and play with you? I don't play it, mate. So I would if I could, but I can't. So yeah, what are you saying, Mark? What are you going for? Right, I'm going to go for a PSG win tonight, and then based on how big that win is, I will determine whether Villa will get through. Anything can happen at Villa Park, but I've got a feeling that people are writing Villa. Actually, we'll do a poll on that because Martinez has beaten Donnarumma. Thank you very much for that. Who gets through, Villa or PSG? I want to know what you lot think. Villa or PSG? Let me think. That'll do. And I'm live. There we go. I was just putting a tweet out. Right. There we go. What did he say to me earlier on? Somebody said something to me earlier on. Oh, doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah. So let's have a look what people are voting. A lot of people going for PSG. I understand that, but don't write Villa off. Don't write them off. I assume you do all the Premier League teams in the Champions League. My priority is the Premier League. I'm a Premier League fan, but I'm also a Champions League fan. If Liverpool if Arsenal get knocked out next week and Villa get knocked out next week, we'll still do the semi-finals on here. That's football. Real Madrid fans are welcome. PSG fans are welcome. Barcelona fans are welcome. Bayern Munich fans are welcome. You're all welcome. And I like the Champions League. I specifically like it when it hits the quarterfinal stage. I think over the last few years it's been really, really good. And I think the game... Barcelona looks beautiful, by the way. Absolutely beautiful. I know it's not the new camp, but it's dark there. They're waving their lights. It looks amazing. We're not used to that darkness in the UK at the moment because our clocks have gone forward. So it's a little bit lighter at night at the moment. But yeah, we've got Barcelona Dortmund on. Be interested to see how Barcelona get on, actually. It will. Thanks for your super chats anyway. Crazy FIFA goals, Mohammed. Fit for Bitcoin. Appreciate that. What were you in London for? I basically had to have some tests with a specialist. No, I didn't. I was doing a talk actually in London about like advertising on YouTube. Actually, if I'm being honest, it was like, you know, in the next 5 years and the difference between mainstream and YouTube. I won't bore you, but I did a presentation in front of some people about that, because although I talk a lot of crap in front of the camera, I am actually, you know, pretty experienced in the last 10 years of the evolution of content creation. So I was down there doing that. But more interesting than that was politics on the train. I don't go on the train that much. I do actually like getting the train to London. But being a commuter this morning into London on a busy train, I couldn't put up with it every day. Somebody got on the busy train, and a guy had sat on the aisle and had a seat next to him where he'd put his coat and bag. So this woman gets on the train and says, "Is anybody sitting there?" And he went, "No, I've just got my coat and bag there." And she said, "Well, just put them up there then." And he went, sulky face, and did it. And I thought, mate, you haven't paid for 2 bloody seats. Move your bloody bag and chair. I didn't say it. I don't want to get involved. I don't want headline Goldbridge starts shouting at innocent commuter on train to London. But yeah, I've seen this before. It's amazing to me how people do. It pisses me off. People put their bag and their coat on next to them, and then have a real huff when someone says, "Can I sit there?" You don't own the train. You're not Richard Branson. Put your bag and coat up there. You cheeky git. I mean, look, I was on the train back. It was hardly anybody on it. I'll admit, I stretched out, put my coat on there, took my jumper off. You know, just stretched out. But not on a busy train. Not on a busy train. And then also, in my carriage, we had 3 bloody daddy pigs. And what I'm talking about that is they get on with their headphones, they put their bloody laptop there, they start doing their work, and they're going like this, but like a bloody pig. And I just think, you just got absolutely no manners, have you? You've got no manners. Nobody wants to listen to you snorting like a bloody pig, you know, coughing up your phlegm. If I was sat next to them and on their laptop, I'd purposely be reading their emails and finding ways to, cause them problems. Like, I'd clock the email of their boss and then send an anonymous email about that person. Just make something up. Hi, Mark. Who would win? Nothing bad. I wouldn't start saying he's been hanging around schools or stuff like that. But, you know, maybe just sort of like he's having an affair and he's a serial cheater on his wife and at Monopoly, you know? Add a bit of comedy into it as well as serious stuff. It'd teach him right for not blowing his nose. Hi, Mark. Who would win in a fight? Right, said Fred, or Robson and Jerome? I'll tell you what, Jerome is pretty hard. He was in 1923 and Game of Thrones. So I'm going to go Robson and Jerome. Still buzzing off last night, but excited for another night of Champions League class quarterfinals, says Kieran. Yes, Arsenal fan Kieran, looking forward to it. Do you think Arsenal go through next week? Funnily enough, my agent is an Arsenal fan, and I was talking to him in London today, and he was at the game yesterday. Got money, hasn't he? He was in a box. And he's not dead. He's got a box at the Emirates. And I was saying, you're basically through. And he said, if UEFA leave us alone, we're through. And I thought he made a good point. 3-0 to Arsenal, they should do it. But dodgy yellow card, dodgy red card, penalty. You know, I'm not saying UEFA have favoured Real Madrid in the past at all. No, I'm not saying that. Some of you might. But I'm just saying that's the sort of thing that could turn the tie, certainly. Anyway, we're about to start here. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. Both games about to start. I'm really loving the Barcelona pitch. I know it's not as big, but I'm loving the lights and everything like that. Looks great. What's the capacity of the mini camp then? Because that's what they call it, isn't it? Here we go. We started anyway. Aston Villa playing in white away, and obviously PSG playing in their red and navy kit. The atmosphere was very good against Liverpool. They were very energetic against Liverpool. My only concern is Villa's defence. And also, can I just say, well, I can, I'm a little bit not convinced about Marcus Rashford as a striker. I can't be a hypocrite. I think he's better off the left. At United, whenever we played him as a striker, unless you're looking to just get him in over the top on pace, which is maybe what they're looking to do, actually. Might be that simple. We did it at Anfield a few times. He's not great at holding the ball up and linking it up. He's better with the ball at his feet, running at people, not with his back to goal. So it's a bit of a surprise that they've gone with that. But actually, now I think about it, they're obviously just want him there for the ball over the top. And Ruben says Watkins isn't playing well either. Well, Malen can't play, can he? I mean, I've mentioned this before about Villa. It's really surprising that Malen actually didn't get registered, even though he was bought by Villa. So Villa bought Malen, loaned Asensio and Rashford, but registered Asensio and Rashford for the Champions League and not Malen, who they actually bought. So, I'm not saying they got it wrong, actually. I probably would register Rashford and Asensio over Malen, but it's interesting that those two are loanees. Anyway, thanks for your super chats, Mike and Kieran. Do you think Arsenal go through next week, says Vicky? Yes, I do. I think they will, yeah. But as I say, keep an eye on that. Bob says I was impressed with Inter last night. Yeah, look, Goldbridge predicts is going to have to predict very well in win, lose or draw against Robbie from now on. But in relation to the Champions League, spot on. I said Arsenal would win. I said Inter would win. I think PSG will win this. Not to the extent that the tie will be over. Dembele shoots, stupid shot. I think PSG will win in Paris. I don't think that's... I think Villa winning in Paris is probably a stretch. If they could get a draw, it'd be fantastic. But I don't think they're out the tie if they can keep it to like 1, maybe 2. What about the other game? Barcelona are favourites to win the tournament, aren't they? So I'd be pretty out there to say that... Dortmund are going to win in Barcelona. Although I do remember Dortmund being up against Real Madrid at half-time, didn't they? I think that was in Spain. But Cobble, Rierson, Chan, Anton, Benzbani, and Micha, Kuka Mekika, Adiemi, Brandt, Gittins, and Garassi is the Dortmund side, whereas Barcelona are already all over them. Chesney, Koundé, Kabasi, Martinez, Balde, De Jong, Pedri, Lopez, Yamal, Rafinha, and Lewandowski. Yeah, I think Barcelona will win that one. Jason's a Villa fan. I would be happy with a draw. I'd love you to get a draw, mate. I really do think it's about what you can take back to Villa Park next Tuesday. Big game. For Villa, though, it's so tough, isn't it? Their turnaround is incredible, really, because they're playing next Tuesday night. And obviously they're playing Wednesday, Tuesday, so that's 6 days, and they've got to play a Premier League game on Saturday. It is Southampton, though, which is probably a little bit fortunate. You wouldn't want to be playing a more difficult game, would you? Because, as I say, they're playing Tuesday. So 3 games in 6 days. Yeah, looking forward to United tomorrow night, but look, a little bit more relaxing tonight, a little bit more enjoyment tonight, I think. Be a bit more stress tomorrow. It's Kvaratskhelia. He's going to go right there. Oh, don't stand off. He thought he was going to shoot. It's Dembele. There is a shot. Good save, Martinez. Vitinha. Was that Vitinha with the shot? See, I like... You know what? I've never really been... Goal! Good save in Spain as well. Cobble. So early chances here. Martinez saved that comfortably. But yeah, I've never really been a big fan of PSG because of the money. You know, oh, we're going to buy this, we're going to buy that. But look, just shows you your opinions can change. And I like the fact, I mean, they're still spending money. Let's not mess about. But they've built more of a team. Oh, Matty Cash gets Megs there by Kvaratskhelia. Mark, I'm not joking. Arsenal are actually favourites to win the Champions League now with 28%, says Slow Blandy. They've got a chance, mate. They're a good. They've got a good defence. They've got a good midfield, and if Saka stays fit, you know, obviously they haven't got a striker, but they've shown that they can score goals. They have got a chance. If you're not Real Madrid out, you've got a chance, haven't you? Anybody who knocks Real Madrid out's got a chance. I have a fever. Can't wait for the Madrid comeback, says Private. Both these games have started really well. I'm sort of going PSG, Barcelona. Yamal's just gone close. I mean, I can see Barcelona cooking up a few goals. Junior Michael says, I don't see. I would still take Martinez over Raya, says Sean Atwood. Formerly of Arsenal, yeah. Have Dortmund fallen off, says John. They've not had a great season. Oh, I'll tell you what, Barcelona are going to score. Here's Rafinha. Lewandowski, great save. I mean, they literally, Barca could be 3-0 up already. It's a bloody right. And then Martinez save as well. These games are sort of mirroring each other in Paris and Spain. Kvaratskhelia, I tell you what, he could have had a penalty there. If he'd stayed down, he could have had a penalty there. Bit fair play for staying up. But PSG have started off very well. Pretty much the same they did against Liverpool as well. Barca could be 3-0 up. It's relentless. Barry Green says, any Villa fan that thinks we'll beat PSG is delusional. You got to believe, mate. But PSG are a good team. It's not, you know, I think, obviously, I think people know that from the game in Paris between Liverpool and Man City and PSG. But also, well, the Man City game as well. They played well in that. There's no shame in Villa getting beat by PSG. I mean, it'd be a very, very, very big result for them if they could get through this tie. But PSG can be wasteful. They can have a lot of chances and not score them. I remember Dembele was supposed to be the next big thing until injuries cursed him. Genuinely so happy to see how he's doing now, says Jace. I remember United being linked to him, and we were like, some people were calling him Dembelance because he was injured all the time. Breadstick hamstrings, isn't it? Lovely ball. Dembele again. They're going to go wide here to Kvaratskhelia. There he goes. Kvaratskhelia into the box. Up against Matty Cash. The cross is good. And it's going to be good defending, isn't it? And that's a goal kick. Disease Gaming, hope you're doing well. Is going to grab a drink. The interesting thing about these is, though, that I think a lot of people have got PSG and Barcelona as favourites, and probably rightly so, to be fair. But the second legs aren't in Paris and Barcelona. The first ones are. So if you can get a result in the first leg, you know, might need a little bit of luck, might need, you know, great goalkeeping, bit of post, bit of bad finishing. But if Dortmund can get it back to Germany, you know, with a draw, or Villa could get it back to England with a draw, the complexion of the game changes completely. Rashford's playing up front, Corey, yes. Which, as I said, at United, I was talking about that before, at United it never really worked unless you were literally just looking for long balls on the counter. And I think based on the first 10 minutes, yeah, that's what Villa are looking to do. They're not looking to have the ball, really. It's about quick transitions, isn't it? Look at Mendes' recovery pace there against Rodgers. Very good player, Mendes. I mean, that's the player that Emery wanted. I'm sure he said, I want Mendes. He'd be interested in coming. And then Sir Jim went, at the end of the day, you're not having fucking Mendes. We've got no money, Emery. I know we told you that to get you out of Sporting, but we played the game, you know. I'm not a billionaire for nothing, you know. And you can piss off. You're not having Mendes. You can have Dorgu, who could be the next Mendes in 5 years, and then I'll sell him anyway. Matty Cash is in for a long night, says Oliver. It depends. Well, you know, a long night can be a good night, but maybe not in the terms you're talking about. They're on the attack again. It's another cross. Konza clears it. Most predictable final, PSG versus Barcelona, says Liam Vernon. Do you think? I think it'd be a bloody good final, mate. Madrid knocked out and PSG win the Champions League without Mbappe, says Shane. Again, I was in London today and I was talking to somebody about Real Madrid. We were talking about the Arsenal game, and we had that conversation about what we had as a community when we heard that Real Madrid were going to get Mbappe. And look, I'm not a Real Madrid fan, but, you know, we're football fans. And we were discussing it, and the thing was, good play by McGinn. He's going to win a foul. We were discussing it, and we said, I just felt that Real Madrid, with that front three of, well, front two really, of Vinicius Junior and Rodrigo, and then Bellingham as a sort of false 9-10, it worked really well last year. Then you bring Mbappe in, and you've got to rearrange the way you're playing, and I don't think they're as good. Well, they're not as good as they were last year. And why aren't they as good as last year? Because I think they're still adjusting to putting Mbappe in the team, which has made them a little bit less effective defensively. And yeah, you know, but that's not. Madrid fans will begrudgingly accept that sometimes in their history they ruin their chances by buying Galacticos. They've always been like that. And I think the Mbappe effect, Mbappe's probably one of the best players in the world, if not the best. But it has disrupted their team compared to last year, where I thought they were, well, they won the Champions League, didn't they? But I thought they were a fantastic side. And they also lost Toni Kroos, which is hard to replace. CKH, yeah, definitely. I want Villa to, the Smirker says, I want Villa to win, but we all know if they do, all the Man United haters will come and say Rashford was never the problem. Oh, I'm not bothered about that, mate. I mean, Rashford just needs to be sold. I don't even see him as a United. Well, he is a United player, but he's got to be sold in the summer, and the best way to sell him is if he plays well. Man City didn't win the Champions League last year, mate. I know you, Maximus. I know you Man City fans are struggling onto any crumb of, you know, credibility you can, but you didn't win the Champions League last year. Yeah, Toni Kroos retired, says Michael. It was Dortmund against Madrid final at Wembley. Sancho played. Dortmund seem to have settled a little bit better now. First 7 minutes, it was all Barca. Dortmund have had a bit of the ball now. And same here. Villa have settled a little bit. Here is, I mean, Matty Cash can't afford to get booked. That's a lovely ball. Oh my God, what a ball. And Martinez does really well, really well. Lovely ball. Who hit that ball into Hakimi then? Was it Bettina? What a ball. In behind, on the angle. Maybe he was offside. It was a lovely ball, though. Like a no-look pass, wasn't it? Yeah, it's Vitina. Who gets through? 62% say PSG and 38% say Villa. We'll close that there then. Do you like Radiohead, Mark? Says Dangry. Mate, I don't know whether you've been on my Instagram, but that's a really big coincidence because on the way back from London today, I was listening to a couple of Radiohead songs, Fake Plastic Trees, and then didn't even release it as a single, Let Down. Go to 3 minutes and 1 second in to Let Down. Oh my God. And in fact, listen to it from the start and then 3 minutes in. Oh my God. A minute and a half of just immense music. It's just so good. Yeah, I do like some Radiohead stuff. Anyway, thank you very much for your super chat, Dang. Martinez is about to kick a free kick here. PSG have had 74% possession. Oh, mistake. Got it, Skelly. Matty Cash booked. What did I say? I said, you know what? It's almost like I know what I'm talking about. Matty Cash can't afford to get booked. Gets booked 2 minutes later. You're not going to get away with it, mate. It's soft, but he's done you because of the foul and the nutmeg. That's why he's done it. This is soft, but he'd already been nutmegged. Yeah, he's done you for that. Soft. It is soft, but I think he was on a warning anyway. That's bad news. That's the one, you know, sometimes you can look at a game and go, you don't want Digne or Cash on a yellow card early against those two wingers. And unfortunately, it is soft. It is soft. I agree it's soft. But you know how European referees work. There was a foul about 10 minutes ago where Kvaratskhelia knocked it through the legs of Cash and Cash fouled him. So I think the referee's gone, that's just totting up. Do you think Rodrigo will transfer to the Premier League in the summer, says the real Johnny Sins? I do like him. I don't know whether he's unsettled at Madrid. Dortmund are playing good now, says Jose. Yeah, they have settled into it. Right, free kick to PSG. They're going to dink this over to the back post. No, they're not. Hakimi's going to shoot. Straight at the keeper. Good effort, but straight at the keeper. A foul is a foul, says Aidan White. You sound like my parents. A lie is a lie. Yeah, it doesn't matter how bad these referees are. They'll still be better than our shit. Emmanuel says, is Mendes the best left-back in the world? Well, that opens up a conversation. Who's the best left-back in the world? I mean, to be honest with you, I would have said Andy Robertson at one time, but Kirkes, says Akit. Hey, mate, I'll laugh at it, but maybe after his move. Balde at Barcelona, says Amir. I don't feel like Mendes is the best left-back in the world. I feel like he has the potential to be the best left-back in the world. Maybe there isn't a definitive best left-back in the world at the moment because Luke Shaw's injured, isn't he? Maybe it's up for grabs. Double denim, Mark. Canadian tuxedo bridge. I haven't got double denim on. I've got these on, look. With white trainers I had on today. Cucurella's not the best left-back in the world, is he, bollocks? I think Andy Robertson has been. See, there's Digne there. He don't get booked as well. Got to be very careful with these fullbacks. Alfonso Davies says SNS. What have I become? But you could have it all. My eternal hope. Everyone I know goes away in the end. Good cross, headed away by Konza. That's a great song, Hurt by Johnny Cash. It's only come into my head because of Matty Cash. What a song that is, Hurt by Matty Cash. He didn't originally write it though. It's a cover, isn't it? What a song. Playing out from the back will cost Villa, says Maker. Playing out from the back should be banned. I actually think, you know, in Baller League, if you get 3 corners, you get a penalty. I think if you play out from the back more than 3 times, the opposition get a penalty. 9 Inch Nails cover, yes, Perk. Yeah, I actually heard that song the other night. It was very. I prefer. I think even he prefers the Johnny Cash one, doesn't he? Playing out from the back will cost them. Jackie Boy says, if Villa gets to the final and we have to deal with Jaden and Rashford being in the final one after the other, Player FC will lose it, says Jackie Boy. I don't give a toss about Player FC as long as his value goes up. I mean, he's not been in the game here. He's in the graveyard shift. If I was Ollie Watkins, I wouldn't even be that worried. Although, here we go. Morgan Rogers tries to play Rashford in. He has got it, but they're going to go back from there. Yeah, it's been a tough night for Ramsey and Rashford and Rodgers so far. Aman wants to name a footballer for an edit. Well, the way he's performing in the Champions League at the moment, and he's got that flair and passion, how's about the number 7 for PSG? See what, Hakimi gets forward a lot, doesn't he? Oh, here we go. Vitina was going to hit it first time. I think he should have hit it first time. Sir J.K. Worthing says, goal contributions and playing in the mid-side. Got to go Anthony Robinson. Can't think of many sides he wouldn't improve, but I'm biased. I don't think it's fair on Fulham, but I would like to see Anthony Robinson in a Champions League side. Are you still doing Baller League, says Etienne? It was a 3-week thing, so I don't know. I've not heard anything yet. I want to manage a team. Like every time I'm there, I'm like, you know, like when you. I'm trying to explain what scenario it would be. There's a player down here at the moment. I think it's Ramsey. You know. You know when you're at a party and I mean I this never happened to me because you know it wouldn't, but you know if you're at a party and it's a good party, but then the girl you want to be with is with somebody else. That's sort of like what it's like being at the Baller League. I want to be a manager. Zepho says Villa looking a bit out of it at the moment, but the score is 0-0. The score is 0-0. Remember what Liverpool did to PSG? Got dominated and then scored 1-0 at the end. All Villa have got to do, unless it's the final, all you got to do in Europe is get it. It's a game of 2 halves. Get it back to your place. Then the crowd change the game. Hakimi versus Frimpong poll. I love it. I absolutely love that SK. That is brilliant. I mean, I really do like both of those players. I think I know who I'd go for. Just want to check their age. Not that that matters. That sounds wrong. We're talking about footballers here. Hakimi. Hakimi is 26. I don't watch Morocco. What do Morocco do with Hakimi? Goal for Barcelona. Goal for Barcelona. They've got their hands up. Might be an offside, but Kabasi has scored. Fullback, number 2. Dortmund have got their hands up, but... yeah, what do Morocco do with Hakimi and Mazraoui? Does one of them play left-back or centre-back? Let's have a look. Well, there's no offside there, is there? Why are they putting their hands up for offside? Definitely 1-0. Mazraoui plays left back for Morocco, says Oza. There we go. Oh, Rafinha has touched it in. You know what? If he is offside and it's hard to tell, what a twat. If he's got away... Rafinha, why has Rafinha done that? That is such an idiot thing to do. Like, that's going in, and he's basically got his studs in it on the line to claim it. It's a bit shithousey. I don't like that. I think he's a bit of a twat for doing that. I really do. Goal's been given, but I still think he's a twat for taking it off the young lad. They're all young lads. A goal is given, but it's greedy. That is, it's not even the offside thing for me. I just think that's just a knobhead thing to do. I don't mind people doing it when they're not sure it's going in, but it's on the line. Mark, you're number 9 on trending. What platform? Look what I've become. Anyway, it's going well for Villa at the moment. Goldbridge best bits, yeah. Amy's just been booked. Do I think Yamal is already world class as Pedro? I mean, he shouldn't be world class at his age, but he is, yeah. He is world class, yeah. Here's Kvaratskhelia. Here's it off. T Bliss says, I've just watched your full kit manager clip. Oh yeah, we were talking about that last night, weren't we? Do I think Liverpool will be mid-table in 4 or 5 years? I think Liverpool... keeping Van Dijk and Salah changes the dynamic next season. Why would it update the score? It's 0-0 between Villa and PSG. I've got a super chat here from Minty Sports. Look, we're watching football, but people do this sort of stuff. If you've got any agony problems, Agony Bridge is always there to help. And it's not always about dates, you know. You might have a dilemma at the weekends, you know, it's your mother-in-law's birthday, but you wouldn't mind watching, you know, the Premier League 3 o'clocks or whatever. I'll give you the answer. Rashford, he's not really gone anywhere there, but they've kept the ball. Oh, and who wins, 5 Goldbridges or 1 Hippo? Ooh, I'll tell you what, that would be a good fight. Have you seen that computer simulator where you can have like 1,000 Harry Potters against 100,000 Kermit the Frogs, and it'll play out the battle? Needless to say, Harry Potter lost. look, without his wand, he's just a stupid little kid wearing glasses, isn't he? So 5 Goldbridges against the Hippo. I mean, the trouble is, 5 Goldbridges would be handy and, most importantly, intelligent. But what are you gonna do to the Hippo with your hands? That's the problem. You've also got to sacrifice one of the Goldbridges, and I'm not willing to do that. Someone's got to go at the front end, which normally sounds great, but not in this situation. You'll be in you're going to be in its mouth, but not in a way you want. Not that you'd want it from a Hippo anyway. I don't know what I'm talking about. Drown it, says Elizabeth. 5 people had struggled to bloody drown a Hippo, I tell you that. They can bloody breathe underwater as well. We'd be all there holding it underwater and we'd drown ourselves. You've got me with that one. 5 Goldbridges against 1 Hippo. Look, if I've got a samurai sword, I only need 1. But if I've got no weapons, which I presume is fair, it's going to be tough. Yeah, Phoenix says, bad idea drowning it. Tomorrow is a big day for United, says Ram. Yep. 31 minutes, Villa. Juan says, what's your thoughts on Yamal? Really exciting player. Yeah. World class, that's what we were just saying. I think they're doing well at the moment, Villa. I feel like PSG and Barcelona is going to dominate Europe if not. City gets a lot of these players. They're clearly 2 best Europe teams. Your opinion, says Daniel. No, I don't see that. Real Madrid are never going to allow domination of Europe without putting up a good fight. And I mean, I think the Premier League can be its own worst enemy sometimes. It's a very intense league, and it can be to the detriment of a European campaign. Whereas, like, if PSG sort themselves out, they've normally won their league by October, haven't they? So you can focus on it, but Villa are defending well at the moment. Do you think the Barcelona Academy is the best academy, says Fuhad? In the absence of definitive data, I'd say it probably is, yeah. Tanishk says, if Gyökeres, Williams, Liverpool look like they'll get Isak and Kerkez, and City are in for Verts. Oh, sorry. If Arsenal get Gyökeres and Williams and Liverpool get Isak and Kerkez and City are in for Verts, it could be a 3-horse race next season, says Tanishk. I saw the Inter game yesterday. I see them winning the Champions League great midfield of Mkhitaryan, Barella, Kalanoglu with a solid defence, and Martinez and Thuram, says Mickey. I don't think they'll win it. I don't think they're the strongest team in it. But they could be a dark horse, certainly. What's the biggest epiphany you've had, says Jamie Grant. Oh, breakaway for Villa. It's a 3v2. John McGinn. Nice ball into Rashford. Should have played that first time, but still plays it. Cut back. Goal, Villa! Oh, what? Morgan Rogers. What a goal for Villa. Prince William can't believe it. That's a goal. That's a very good goal. It's a great team goal. Absolutely brilliant. The way they played that from back to front, every pass was right. McGinn to Rashford to Tielemans to Rogers. Great team goal. Really, really good. Look at this ball by McGinn. He's got to find the right pass. I mean, I thought Rashford could have gone first time, but actually, by taking the touch, it makes him make the right pass. And it's a lovely cross by Tielemans. McGinn is the guy who deserves the big shout out here. Wins the ball back. Plays a lovely pass. Tielemans again. Lovely cross. Dare to dream, Aston Villa. Dare to dream. You've got the goal. Morgan Rogers. Fantastically worked goal, says Samuel. Absolutely fantastic. Well, James says smash and grab, but there's nothing wrong with this. Sir Alex Ferguson used to do this in his latter years at United. Away from home, we'd do this, and at home, we'd go for it, and it worked. It does work. There's nothing wrong. And Emery in Europe, you know, European competitions, he knows what he's doing. He knows his apples, so to speak. But look, Villa have defended well. And then, when they get the ball, they're looking to move it decisively. And it was a superb goal, says Petter. Exactly. Johnny Merlis says, you couldn't beat a hippo with five Mark Goldbridges. A hippo can weigh 4,500 kilograms. 5 mgs is probably only 350. Hippos can hold their breath for 5 minutes. You underestimate what 5 Mark Goldbridges could do, Johnny, to be honest with you. I'm still coming up with a strategy. You know what I'm thinking? I've got an idea. I sacrifice 2 by jumping into its mouth and choking the shit. Like when it opens its mouth, we throw 2 in and ram it right down the throat, and then it chokes. Villa playing with confidence now. Aston Villa should believe. Dare to do the impossible with Emery at the wheel, says Nigel Spiegel. Somebody just said you could ram yourself up the other end. Still would work. I'm not doing that. I don't know what my greatest ever epiphany is the honest answer. So 1-0 to Barcelona at home to Dortmund in the first leg, and it's 1-0 to Villa away in Paris. Please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner. Everybody's welcome on That's Football, daily content. We're closing in on 315,000 subscribers. Villa lead here. Some are saying it's a smash and grab. Of course it is. They're the underdogs. They're playing away from home. But the goal was very good, and the defence has been very good, and football isn't always about going gung-ho. Another shot. Oh! What's Martinez doing there? He made the save, and then he sort of rolled it back out. Would you like to see Arsenal Villa in the semi-final? I'd love it. I'd love it. I loved Arsenal Liverpool in 08. Sorry, Arsenal Man United in 08. Was it 08 we played Arsenal in the semi-final? I think it was 08. Oh no, I think it might have been 09 because Fletcher didn't play in the final. Oh, what a goal! Oh, what a goal! 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 What a Champions League! What a Champions League we're having! Brilliant game last night. Brilliant game tonight. Villa have just scored a cracker, and then an individual moment. Absolutely brilliant. I'm thinking Alvarez for Atletico Madrid in the last round, but better by Doué. What a finish. What a goal. That is special. That is really special. Look, I don't want Villa to get beat, but what I do want to see is worldies, individualism. I bloody love it. I just bloody love individualism. And that's individualism. That's what gets you off your seat, even though I'm sat down. Doué cuts in from the left-hand side. And it's dip, it's curl, and it's in. And that's got, you can have all the tactics in the world. You can all have all the bloody systems in the world. You can pass it around and everything like that. But sometimes what gets you back in the game is individual brilliance, and that was individual brilliance. Great goal. Great goal. And it's 1-1. I do feel for Villa. But you can't deprive yourself of those sorts of things. Hakimi has beaten Frimpong, 53%. I'd go Hakimi over Frimpong. I like both players, but Hakimi, leadership, I just think he's better. Hungover Chinese or a pre-drinks Indian, says Keith Stokes. Oh, they're both good. Or what about an end of night Indian? I always like a few pints and then go for an Indian. Villa now, got to go back to square one again. PSG are going to have the tails up. Got it, Skelly. Wants a foul. He's not going to get a foul for that. Morgan Rogers needs to start dribbling. Ooh, good play by Rashford. Go on, run him. Oh, nearly, nearly. That's what they need to do. Isolate Morgan Rogers and Rashford in one-on-ones on the break. How do we get a permanent transfer swap? Morgan Rogers for Rashford, says Lake on the mid. Well, we don't. It's clearly not a goal, is it? GDS. Shove it up your ass. Were you all, Rebecca, this is a poll. You're gone. Every time you do it, you just get blocked. Hungover, how do we get a permanent transfer? We've done that one. We sure, Mark, 4 + 5 would be down. Feels like Mickey 17, says Esto. We're still talking about the hippo. Who wins out of Villa and Arsenal in a semi, says Lucy Swan. And Ben says, would you trade Bruno and Mainu for Rice? No. I wouldn't trade Bruno, no. Who would win between Villa and Arsenal? Well, Arsenal would be favourites, but don't write them off. PSG on the attack. Very Skelly. Still 1-0 Barcelona. Why are we talking about hippos, is Ash? We watch the football and then we have other conversations going on, basically. It's a bit like being down the pub. DP says, what made you wear glasses? Well, I couldn't see properly. I said to you last night, I was at that baller league on Monday, and I was just chilling, having a coffee, looking across the pitch, and there was a guy in a cap waving at me, and I said to my mate, who's this prat in a cap? And they started walking over, and I was like, oh God, they're acting like they want a picture now. And it was John Terry. I did tell him the story. I said, I couldn't see who you were. I thought you were just a fan. And he said, I am. Can I have a picture? No, he didn't. No, he looks all right in a cap. Like, but I'd look an idiot. I'd look like a farmer. Do you reckon Thomas Muller or Neymar will rank higher when it's all said and done? Says Esto. Neymar will on reputation, mate, but it's a good question. Oh. Would Villa win Champions League be bigger than Leicester winning the Premier League, says Nicolas Cage? Well, let's have a poll. What's bigger? Leicester, Prem winners, Villa, winning UCL. JM says, I love Emery. He's versatile, no philosophy bullshit. Oh, good play. Don't let him shoot. Good play, good play. Good play. Good defending by Villa, but... You've got to be careful here. Probably get to half time. 2 minutes to go. Doué's looking lively, isn't he? It's not a bad front three, that, is it? Would I trade Bruno for Vitina? I wouldn't trade Bruno from United because whoever you bring in isn't Man United experienced, are they? Ooh, Garassi just hit the side netting. Half-time, Barcelona. Mike K says, Leicester winning the Premier League is the biggest upset in major sports history. There's been a few I can think of. Greece winning the Euros, 2004. Wimbledon beating Liverpool in the FA Cup. Faris Teller says, people in the media can't stop ridiculing Man United for Rashford's Villa brilliance, but no one talks about how he tries 10 times more than he was. Unprofessional. The media are idiots, mate. You know, if I could be asked to even try, like, well, it wouldn't happen. I'd love to sit with one of these media prats when they're saying this and say, can I have my say, please? Yes. So Man United are stupid for getting rid of Rashford because he's playing so well. Yeah, okay. So when he was not trying at Man United for a year and the manager told us this, what are we supposed to do? Have you ever figured out that maybe the fresh challenge has been the spark to ignite him to the player he can be? It's like the whole Elanga thing. We shouldn't have sold Elanga. Elanga at Man United was not the player he is at Forest. You know, there is this arrogance that if we'd kept Rashford, he was playing like this. He wasn't playing like this. He's gone to Aston Villa in a new environment under Unai Emery, and he's playing well. How's about giving some credit to Villa? How's about giving some credit to Emery? How's about Rashford needed a new challenge? Elanga would not be the same player if we hadn't sold him. How about giving some credit to Elanga and Nottingham Forest for developing him? Like, that's not how life works. It wasn't working with Elanga at Man United. It wasn't working with Rashford at Manchester United. I would say, what a good bit of business by Man United loaning Rashford out, who nobody wanted to buy. And now there's going to be 3 or 4 clubs that want him. And also, I would also say he's not amazing. He's not playing amazing. He's playing better, but he's not playing amazing. Judge says, appreciate you, Mark, more than you'll know. Thank you very much for your super chat, pal. Hope you're doing well. Min says, Aston Villa is at least 3 transfer windows ahead of us. They've got such a good squad, Min. Such a good squad. Leicester Premier League winners is beating Villa winning the Champions League. What do I think? We've just had a poll going on. What would be bigger? Villa winning the Champions League or Leicester winning the Premier League? Look, you should all be old enough to remember. It's only 10 years ago. In fact, it's 9 years ago that Leicester won the Premier League. So most of you shouldn't remember it. It was a shit Premier League. It was a shit Premier League. That doesn't stop the fact that Leicester winning it was incredible. But equivalent-wise, if we had that Premier League now, I think Forest would win it. I was having this chat down the pub a couple of weeks ago. Somebody was saying, where do you rate that league that year? Because, and you can do that. The strength of a Premier League changes every year. I would say if Forest were playing in that Premier League that Leicester won, they'd probably win it as well. Arsenal would definitely win it. So it wasn't an amazing season. Spurs were the title contenders for a lot of the season and then bottled even that, and Arsenal finished second. So Man City were terrible, United were obviously terrible, Chelsea had a bad season. I think Chelsea had won the league, hadn't they? And then they sacked Mourinho. But it was incredible what Leicester did, but it wasn't a particularly strong Premier League. I think if Villa won the Champions League, I think it's bigger, yeah. I do. I think the quality of the Champions League comparable to... it's close. It is close. It's a very... You know what? It's a very good debate because it is close. Some debates are, bad takes if you go with the minority, but I actually think it's close. Best free kick in the Champions League history, Ronaldo versus Arsenal for me. It was very good. Very, very good. GGMU. But what a night last night was. Brilliant from Declan Rice. Absolutely fantastic. Doué is what a generational talent really looks like, says Space Cowboy. How old is Doué? Let's have a look. 19. 20 in the summer. Yeah, he's a good player. I tell you what, the PSG, someone was saying has Barcelona got the best youth system in the world, and they arguably have, but the PSG youth system ain't bad. Ain't bad. Baron says, from a prestige standpoint, what's bigger, winning the league or winning the Ballon d'Or? A friend of mine, Sean, feels like the Ballon d'Or is subpar to cups. Yeah, I mean, I've played the game. I've not played the game at the highest level, but I think you've got to be a right selfish twat to value the Ballon d'Or over winning the league with your team or the Champions League. I mean, I won Player of the Year quite a lot when I used to play, obviously, but I always wanted to win. I wanted to win things as a team. Doué's way better than Garnacho, says Lake on the Moon. Philly says, why do you hate Rashford so much? It's so obvious. Mate, you're that close to getting blocked. I mean, I don't know what you're even talking about. The reality is, mate, I'm obviously biting on your super chat troll, which I don't have to do. I'm being polite because you've done one. But I don't hate anybody in any part of my life. So I certainly wouldn't hate a footballer I've never met who actually was one of my favourite players at United who just needs selling. So I don't actually do hate. So I've got no idea what you're talking about. And what's happened is you've got pictures of Rashford on the wall that you probably not one out to every night. And I've said that Rashford wasn't trying at Man United. And what you've done is you've got your little super chat and you've lost your shit like many people do. And the reality is, since he's gone to Villa, he's done well. And I'm happy he's doing well because that's the outcome everybody needs. But I will, like many other people, not listen to bullshitters in the mainstream saying, why did Man United let him go? Because they haven't done their fucking research. And every Man United fan did. We watched him all season not playing anything like this. And we listened to the manager doing press conferences telling us he's not in the team because he's not trying. So don't have a pop at me or any other United fan. We're moving on facts. We're not moving on speculation. And now he's moved and he's doing well. And that's great. But he wasn't playing. He wasn't doing this at Man United. So get your bloody posters out and do whatever it is. But I don't hate Rashford. I don't think anybody hates Rashford. He himself said he needed a new challenge. He's having a new challenge and he's doing well. I don't know what you're bloody moaning about. Hi, what happens if Villa win the Champions League and finishes outside top 5 and Man United win Europa? Would Premier League have 7 teams in the Champions League next year, says Ben. If Man United win the Europa League, we're in the Champions League. We've got 5 spots for Premier League positions. And then if Villa win it, you'd have 7, yeah. You'd have 7 in the Champions League, yeah. You don't lose one. Yeah, so you could have 7 if in that situation. I mean, that's a lot. The downside of that is, though, that the more teams you've got in Europe, the more it dilutes your performance in relation to getting the 2 slots. That guy says, haters going to hate Mark United. Thank you very much for your super chats, by the way. Your top 3 goalkeepers based on this season, says Ross McRae Magician. I actually saw something today that the 3 best goalkeepers in the world, statistically, over the last calendar year, is Donnarumma, Courtois, and Sommer of Inter. Not one Premier League goalkeeper. I don't know why that is. I mean, I suppose they're all playing in leagues where they dominate them. But, well, no, Real Madrid are not winning the league, are they? 3 best goalkeepers in the world on this, based on this season. Mate, I don't know. I can't answer that question. I can't answer that question because I don't watch every single league. So I'd rather give you my best 3 goalkeepers in the world based on who I think the best 3 goalkeepers in the world are. And that would be Courtois, Alisson, and then the third one. I'm tempted to be controversial and say Martinez. I am. Not an Arna, no, funnily enough. Villa winning the Champions League is 51% over Leicester Premier League winners 49%. Anyway, back to the football. Let's have a look at the stats in this game at half-time. Villa, great goal. Absolutely brilliant team goal. Perfect goal that you want to score when you get a counter away from home in Europe. And they countered superbly well. Lovely, lovely goal. And McGinn was just superb in that. But well done, Rashford. Good pass. Tielemans, good cross. Morgan Rogers tapping. And then Doué has scored an absolutely brilliant individual goal. But look, looking at the game, Villa would be very happy with 1-1. I mean, they'd have been over the moon with 1-0. But look, they've had 74% possession, 15 shots, 6 on target, 5 corners, 95% pass accuracy, and they're 1-1 against a team that's had 26% possession, 2 shots, no corners, and 74% pass accuracy. Realistically, if I'm Emery, I'm looking at this game and I'm going, it will be a different game at Villa Park, or it should be a different game at Villa Park. That's where we get through. We have to almost survive this second half and keep this down. If we can get the draw, amazing. If we can keep it down to a 1-goal loss, we've still got a chance. But, you know, anything beyond that, and I think it becomes problematic. So they're halfway there. Exactly. They're halfway there. Okay, let me have a quick look. What's going on here? What's going on? What's going on? Oh, God. I've just lost my chat. Where's it gone? I'm back now. I'm not even a United fan, says Philly, but you don't like Rashford. Oh, mate, I'm just blocking you as an example. I just find it so... I find people so weird. I really do. Look, that's football's for everybody and you're all welcome, but I'm not going to listen to people who just come in and try and bring the mood down with lies and stupidity. I know you're another one with posters knocking them out, but you know, you can critique players, you can have opinion on players. Go. Do agree with you, the quality part, the Champions League is definitely of a higher quality than the Premier League, but guess you'd have to consider the fact that Villa have won it before and Leicester had just came up. No, they didn't win it they didn't win it as a newly promoted team. They nearly got relegated and then they won it. Greetings from Las Anod, Somalia. Big win incoming tomorrow, says Momo. Hope so, mate. This chat, I keep losing my bloody live chat. Sorry. last couple of minutes, it's just gone really stuttery. Anyone else hoping MR9 pulls something and is out? Who is MR9? Where do you think, based on current form, PSG, Madrid and Barcelona would finish on the Premier League? I reckon Barcelona would win it. Yeah, I mean, I think Real Madrid would be top 4. I think Barcelona would probably be top. So it'd be Real Madrid, it'd be Barcelona, Liverpool, and then Real Madrid, Arsenal. Where would PSG be? Who would you take out of that for PSG? See, I think PSG would struggle with the intensity of the Premier League, i.e. the volume of games week in, week out. I don't think Barcelona and Real Madrid would, but I think PSG would really struggle being in a league where there are no easy games. Like, you know, you got to go away to Fulham, you got to go away to Villa. I think they would struggle with that. I don't think Real Madrid and Barcelona would, but I think PSG would. So I'd say PSG top 6 until they adjusted. Good question, though. Very good question. Noah says, I never agree with Ricky, but Rashford is still awful. One of the worst off-ball players I've ever seen. Doué is a dog. Wish we had him or Kvaratskhelia, says Noah. Barca have missed so many chances, says Mohammed. Dua Lipa, says Nathan Hammett. Thank you very much, Lake on the Moon. I've done that one from Baron. Nick P says, I made the mistake of turning the commentary on and listening to Rio creaming himself over Doué as if he's seen him play before tonight. Andre Gomez says Doué has to be one of the best young players in the world right now. He's nothing short of impressive. Right, I'm just getting ready to start the second half here. Villa are bringing Disasi on. Trying to see who's coming off. Let's go, second half, come on. They're already going in Barcelona. Big second half, big 45 minutes for Villa. If they can get out of Paris with a draw, it'll be a bloody brilliant result. I think Disasi's on for cash. Very clever. You know, Emery's not stupid. Very, you know, I was just waiting to see the back line there. He ain't stupid, Emery. This is why he's won so many European trophies. I mean, I think some people would go, I'm going to risk it. And he hasn't. He's gone, you know what? Matty Cash, sent off, and we're going to get knocked out. I'm going to reset here. I'm going to trust Disasi, and I'm going to take Matty Cash off because he's on a yellow card. Big Mal says, oh my God, PSG is losing to Villa was my words, then scores 13 seconds after I said that. Sorry for the jinx, Villa fans. It was a good equaliser. Dunny says, baffling how bad you were targeted for that thumbnail, says Dunny. Oh, I know. I know. Oh, we've got a 4v3. Nearly got Rashford in. United prediction, Mark, says Fenke. I mean, I don't think we'll lose against Lyon. Over the 2 legs, I think we'll win. But tomorrow night, obviously in France, I can see a draw. It's probably ambitious to predict a win, but 2-0 Barcelona. Lewandowski. 2-0. Let me watch this back. That game's, I mean, that's the easiest game of the quarterfinals to predict. Like, I do not see any way that Dortmund were ever going to do anything against Barcelona. I mean, look, second leg, you never know, but I think even in Germany, Barcelona will win there. Always feel sorry for Lewandowski, you know. You know when you watch Poland in the Euros, it's the definition of the graveyard shift, isn't it? One of the world's best strikers and just gets no service at all. Here's Kvaratskhelia. Dembele. Good block again. Yeah, it's just a little nod. Rafinha heads it to the back post. And Lewandowski from about a foot out just nods it in. He doesn't nick the goal this time. It wasn't going in from Rafinha, but it's a good finish by Lewandowski because it wasn't actually going in, even though it was very, very close to the goal. You'd say it's game over there. Yusuf says, do you get the feeling that our game tomorrow night feels like Roma 7-1 Champions League game, albeit we are playing the first leg in France? Yusuf, I like the confidence. Hold on a minute. Here's Kvaratskhelia against Disasi. He's done him. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What the hell is going on in the Champions League? Somebody stop me. Somebody stop me. That is Ryan Giggs, Villa style. Esque. He's ran at Disasi, he's sent him back to Chelsea, and then he's roofed it against one of the best goalkeepers in the world. I thought he'd hit the side netting. If Martinez had tried to save that, he'd be in the goal with it. It's just absolutely brilliant. It's a brilliant goal from PSG. They work it out from the back. Now he picks it up virtually on the halfway line. Carry. Bit of skill. Desase's on his arse, and then it's Ryan Giggs. That is so just that goal. That goal was absolutely Giggs-esque. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Amazing. Amazing goal. You know what? I feel for Villa. What are they supposed to do? The goals they've conceded, anybody would concede. You wouldn't stop either of them. Kvaradona says Wolf Wall. Yeah, I mean, he is a quality player. He really is. I mean, I know he got linked to Liverpool and everybody else like that, but he's a quality player. I mean, there's no doubt he had quality at Napoli, but putting him in a team like this and better player in a better team, you know, what a surprise. But I do feel for Villa, because if you're going to get through a tie like this, you can't afford teams to be scoring worldies. You can't do it. You can't afford teams to be scoring goals that you can't do anything about. You can't defend that. Now, people might say Disasi got skinned, but even then, you wouldn't expect that finish. Who wins? Arsenal Invincibles, United treble winners, or City treble winners, or PGMOL? This is Ray Cowley. Arsenal Invincibles weren't that good. I don't actually even think it was Wenger's best team. Oh no, good defending, Torres. Villa got to be careful now. You've conceded 2 worldies, and I think if PSG get another, we're wandering into tie-over territory. They've just got to get their heads up. Need a bit of leadership here. If I'm on the pitch, I'm saying, look, heads up. What can we do about those 2 goals? We're still in the tie. We can't concede again. Rub says, I've just joined. What a banger of a poll. It is. It's good. Daniel Svensson says, did you just ignore Lamina's pass? I'm not massively watching Dortmund, Barcelona. I'm literally, if something happens, I just have it. But I'm not really watching that. Rajav says, check out my super chat, Mark. Would you take Rice Baby at United? Says Travis. Yeah, I definitely wanted him. Winning a knockout tournament is almost never as impressive as winning a league format over a whole season. It's harder. Leicester's win was unprecedented, says Nathan. Well, the thing is, Nathan, and you don't have to agree with me, but when Man United won the treble in '99, I witnessed that, and I think winning the Champions League was harder than winning the league because of the teams we had to beat to do it. We were in a group that had Barcelona and Bayern Munich in it. We then had to beat teams like Inter Milan, Juventus, and Bayern Munich. So, yeah, we won the league, and it was longer, but I think winning the Champions League was harder. So, I don't think it's always the case that winning a league is better than winning a knockout tournament. It depends on the quality, you know, because you think about it, in a league, you might play 38 games, but 25 of them might be against teams that, you know, you expect to pick up quite a lot of points. But you play, you know, one of the best teams in the world, home and away, in a quarter-final, it's tough. Who wins? Oh, I've done that one. Do you think Fulham will get Europe next season, says CF26? No, I don't. Real says, yeah, you don't play legends every week in a league. I mean, that 99 season, the Juventus team was incredible in the semis. The Bayern Munich side in the final was incredible. And if I remember rightly, the Inter team, I'll read it out here. I've done it before. Man United, I'm sure Ronaldo played for them. Yeah. Pagluca was in goal. Zanetti, Ronaldo, Baggio, Simeone, Zamorano, Yorkaev. It was a good team. Didn't know they had Baggio as well. Yeah, 99, that would be peak R9 as well. Would you want Dave saves as he's only on 1 year, says Pil Panel. And Travis Smith says, are you taking wedding bookings? I'd take De Gea back, yeah. Dembele into the box, cuts it back. Good block, Disasi. How do you say Kvaratskhelia name? I always thought I was doing it right now. Am I confident about tomorrow, Cezanne? I am. We're going to win it. We're going to win it all. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Fantastic Champions League week this has been. I mean, with some great goals and games last night, and we've seen three brilliant goals, actually. A great team goal by Villa, and 2 really good individual goals by PSG. Can Villa? Well, at the very least, they just need to hang on in there. And, you know, keep it at 2-1. Varaskelia is how I go about it. Varaskelia. Either or, Emery or Enrique. Oh, that was a chance. It was a good cross. Was it Torres? Didn't quite get his head around it. Rick Wakeman is a coach for Villa, says Bob. If you know, you know. Would I take De Gea at United? Yes. Yeah. Because, oh, get careful here. He's onside. Doué. It's 3 against 2. Oh, he should have took it into his stride. They've still got it with Hakimi. Great save, Martinez. They've got to be very careful here, Villa. There's still a half an hour to go. They've got to find a solution here. They've got to find a solution. He's in again. Good block. I tell you what, Villa have had more blocks than Lego tonight. They have really put their bodies on the line. Why did he step over it, Fennick? I don't know. I don't know. If he'd have took it in his stride, he'd have been through. Ramsey's on. Sorry, Asensio's on for Ramsey. Bit worried for Villa at the moment. I want next Tuesday. I want Villa Park rocking. I want to see a game. Asensio played for PSG, didn't he? Am I right? I'm sure he did. Did Asensio play for PSG? There he is. Varaskelia again. Oh, good defending. I think Konza and Torres have played well. Is that Whiskey and Coke? No, it's Guinness Zero. I enjoyed it last night. Have you read the new post on from Romano and Ahmad? Well, he's back in training, isn't he? But, you know, it is nearly the middle of April. It could still be 2-3 weeks away. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. They're struggling, aren't they? Looking for a handball now. Corner. They're appealing. I haven't seen the replay. James says, come on, Villa, passion over money. Corner. No penalty. There's a strange hype around Rashford, says Marlow. Villa has been absolute trash with 1 shot on goal. And still on live rating, Rashford is the highest plated player, says Marlow. It's not his fault, mate. There is this thing in football where I was actually asked this question in London today. It was a good question. They said, you know, are there any modern themes in football that you've noticed that, you know, didn't used to exist? And I said, absolutely. It started with Ronaldo, Messi and Jose, where people, you know, became obsessed about individuals more than teams. And now it occurs for players that aren't on that level. And definitely there are fans out there that support individual players more than they support teams. And that's just a new thing. And if you know, if you do support an individual player, you will always just see the best in them. Oh, just a shot wide there. PSG are just having fun. This PSG may well be just having fun, but they won't get back into it with just that. They need sorry, they're already back. They're already winning. What I mean is they won't get 2-1 will be a dangerous scoreline in Paris. Sorry, at Villa. But it's whether they can hold on or not. I mean, Ollie Watkins must be just bang out of form to not even be in it. Outside of the post from Barca, yeah. Thoughts on Matic saying Onana is crap, says It's Louis. I mean, he's sort of not wrong. I think I don't have a problem with it. It's a bit like I said today, isn't it? It's a bit like wrestling, WWE. I think it should happen more. I quite like the fact that competitive sportsmen who have to do loads and loads and loads of scripted interviews actually have a little bit of something going on. PSG slacking off a little bit, Bob. Well, look at the stats. You know, the way they've performed, 22 shots to 6. Need to get that going around again, actually. Lynn Hall says, does anyone know why Watkins isn't starting tonight? Is it fitness or poor form? Lynn, I think it's... I just think it's... he's not playing particularly well. Lewandowski scored again. That game is over. A minute. What's gone wrong with that? Onana just never felt like a United player to me. He never settled in, and it annoys me that we never had to get rid of David 34, says Bill. Yeah, I know, mate, I know. Barcelona are 3-0 up. 25 minutes to go here in Paris. I mean, Villa, it sounds a strange thing to say when you're going to lose the game, potentially, but I actually think if Villa can lose 2-1, it's a good result. I really do. And I hope they can. I mean, 3-1, you've still got a chance, but 2-1, I think you could really take this back to Villa Park. Rio just said he's played the game. Mate, I'm convinced he watches the United stand. Like, I saw a clip the other day, and it was like, it was literally word for word what what I'd been talking about on the morning show, and it wasn't even like in the news. City fan talking about learning football, says RD. Oh my God, Mark, you have to see Lemina's. He's literally dominating. With a player like this, you need to enjoy him more, says Daniel. Well, I'm sure it's just a bit unfortunate that Barcelona are playing on the same night that we're watching Villa PSG, but I'm sure we'll get to watch them in the semis. Ollie says, shout out to my dad Jack, who's in hospital with chest pain. He's okay, out tomorrow. I phoned him and interrupted him viewing Goldbridge on his phone. Yep, shout out Jack. Hope you're doing well. Rest up, pal. Best to get it checked out. Andrew says, you are like Marmite. I, for one, like Marmite. I don't think I am like Marmite. I really don't. I just think there's a lot of jealous people out there who spread shit. I think actually we're just a community who sit and watch football and have opinions on it. Yusuf says, Rashford hasn't been mentioned in the second half. He's in the graveyard shift, mate. I don't think it... look, I've seen this for United and some people don't understand it. As a striker, you are very dependent on service. If he was playing up front for PSG, he'd have had loads of the ball. But in this game, there's not a lot going on. As I said, I've watched him at United for years. He's not a striker unless it's just about these moments here. And he's lost it anyway. Unless it's about those moments where he can just turn and run, he's much better off the wing. But maybe Watkins has got an injury and maybe Emery's gone, look, I just want a bit of pace on the break here. That's what I'm looking for. So. What was for dinner? You might not know what it is. Kedgeree. Barcelona are 3-0 up. I was just quiet there because I was just trying to figure out if there's a chance that Villa could actually get a draw here. I'm not going to be greedy. I think 2-1. Next 20 minutes are key. I didn't realise, actually. I've completely missed this. I'm very, very apologetic about this, but... I've not really mentioned Kamara at all. PSG offside goal. Yeah, he looks miles off Hakimi. I mean, you shouldn't get beat from there, Martinez. That would have been a goalkeeping error. So basically, gets slipped in from a right side run and goes through from a ridiculous angle Martinez's legs. But yeah, he's miles off. But he's lucky because... Well, Martinez is lucky because it was terrible. Not even controversial. Can you shout at my friend Marat for coming out as homosexual? He's a Chelsea fan and he thinks Foden is the best player in the world. I'm not going to shout at him for that, mate. I'll shout at him for saying Foden's the best player in the world. That I'm more than happy to say he's a prat for. But the other one, come on. It's 2025. You homophobe. Maybe we should back Anana before the Lyon game, says James. I don't know anybody who isn't. Bocola's coming on for Douay. Yeah, tomorrow night it's the United stand. Tune in. Tomorrow night, United play Lyon in Lyon, and then I think Spurs are playing Frankfurt, aren't they, tomorrow? Am I right? I'm sure have they got Frankfurt tomorrow? Let's have a quick look. They have. I think they're getting beat. I mean, it's not the biggest take in the world to say that Spurs are going to lose a game of football, although they did beat... Right, Rogers just had a shot there. Lost at the weekend, Frankfurt to Werder Bremen. I'm just having a quick look at Frankfurt, where they are in the league. Third. And Werder Bremen are mid-table. But, yeah, they lost at the weekend. But I think Werder Bremen... I think Werder Bremen might win this game. Lost there. Let's have a look at who's in their team. Akatike, Goats. Yeah, I think they might beat them. Interesting. Can't count Madrid out, says Brian. No, I don't think you can, to be honest. Amir says they haven't been great lately, but you can't count out, they can definitely beat Spurs. I think with Madrid, they shouldn't be winning, but I think the big concern with Arsenal fans is something contentious early on in the game, red card or something like that. Build up team goal or individual brilliance, says Faris. Nah, they're both good. He wants a poll on it. Villa winning the Champions League over Leicester winning the Premier League. 51% of you said Villa winning the Champions League would be better. And you're going to get a good poll here from Faris. Either or. Individual brilliance. Goal or team goal. There you go. 15 minutes to go. Can you shout out my incredible mother, says Josh, Jacqueline, and wonderful girlfriend Shez. Left you on in the kitchen while I've gone shops. There we go. Shout out Jacqueline and Shez. Jackie and Shez. She might not like to be called Jackie, actually. I had a girlfriend, actually, when I was at school called Jacqueline. I'm sure it's not your mum, but... just reminded me. It was primary school as well, so... Could be your mum. Depends how old you are. Even if it was your mum, it wouldn't matter, because we were both at primary school, and it wouldn't be anything more than holding hands. You definitely wouldn't be mine. I think individual goals for me, when I think about individual goals, Ryan Giggs or a really good Matt Letizia goal or Ginola or Henry, yeah. But I think Villa have been a little bit unlucky tonight because PSG haven't created that many penalty box chances. You know what I mean? They haven't created many good chances. You look at Arsenal last night. I know they scored 3 really good goals, but they did also create a lot of chances. Whereas I don't think PSG have created that many gilt-edged chances. They've scored 2 worldies. They've had a lot of possession. But having said that, 2-1 on the balance of probabilities would be a good result for them. What will happen in at Villa Park, Mark? You never know. You never know. It's 4-0 Barcelona, Yamal. you never know what could happen at Villa Park. The crowd will be different. I do think when we watched the last round between PSG and Liverpool, PSG played like this in Paris and lost. And everyone was like, well, Liverpool have done the job. And then PSG were bloody brilliant at Anfield. So you got to be careful of PSG. They didn't really seem to be that concerned about being the away team. But look, I'd expect Villa to have more of the ball and be more on the front foot. Some United fans are agreeing with Matic and ridiculing Nala. Surely would support current United players, especially ahead of the important games, says James. Yeah, I agree. But to be honest, I don't really care about either of them. I thought it was a bit of... I mean, player takes a pop at another player in a press conference and player bites back on social media. Oh, sack them both. No, do more of it. It's the most entertained I've been in ages. Barcelona can play the kids in Germany. Tie over. That's why I want this to stay the same, because otherwise Tuesday night's games are really boring. Stephen Rossi says, is the success of clubs like Villa and Forest this season sustainable, or will they become mid-table as other clubs become more competitive? They have very ambitious owners, those two clubs. I think for Bournemouth, you're right. But I think with teams like Forest and Villa, they do have quite ambitious owners. So if they spend the money correctly, they might be able to stay. Rashford's coming off for... Well, McGinn, Rashford and Tielemans come off. Nana, Watkins on. Must be another one. Can't take 3 off and bring 2 on. Maatsen. They've got a very good bench, Villa. Mike Goldbridge is Trevor, yeah. I don't think Rashford will massively like playing up front based on what we know as United fans. I don't really think he likes playing up front either. So if they can get him back on the left, they'll get the better out of him next leg. Chris says, what do you think Inter Barca semi-final? Well, it's not over yet. I know Inter have got the lead against Munich, and they've got the second leg in Italy, but I don't know. Look, the way Barcelona have performed tonight, they will be hot favourites, won't they? But Dortmund, I think, are probably the worst team in the final 8. Am I right? Let me know. I think Dortmund are the worst team in the final 8. So Barcelona being 4-0 up is impressive. But also, I think they're playing the worst team in the tournament left. Have you figured out whereabouts in America you're going, says Ahmed. East Coast, I think, this time. Yeah, East Coast. So if there's any like TV or podcasts or anything out there and anyone watches, get in contact. Can you do a 37th Liverpool Amazing video? Says Tapping Merchant. I haven't done a Liverpool Amazing video in weeks, you lying little shit. And that was a bite, but I haven't. And also, that's football. I think people go, oh, Mark's a United fan, so why is he doing videos about Liverpool? Because that's football. I don't do any videos on Man United on here because I've got the United stand. Look, if I started doing a Liverpool channel, I get it. Right? And I was going to do an Arsenal video last night, but I had to be up early this morning to go to London, and I thought, you know what? They can do without it. Oh, no! Oh, thank God for Martinez. I was like, what's going on? He's going to have a one-on-one. And then Martinez appeared. When's Last of Us coming out? Is that this week? You don't have to say they're amazing. Well, I do. If I think that what Liverpool or Arsenal or Chelsea do is amazing, then I'll do it. I mean, look, what Declan Rice did last night was amazing. I love football. I don't do... One of the things I said when I set up this channel is that I wanted to be, apart from Man City, I wanted to be fair and not biased. It's out this weekend. I've never been to New York, Matthew, no. I haven't watched the Schmeichel documentary, but one of my mates has, and he said it's very good. I'm watching a documentary on BBC at the moment about Dublin and the cartels, which is quite good. I'm in it. The Goldbridge gang. The rubber-nicking gang. Did you hear what Wesley Sneijder said about Rice's free kicks? He said they're easy. And the top reply was, weight really does mess up with your brain. I thought that was a bit harsh, but Sneijder, what is it about Sneijder and Van der Vaart that turned them into morons? I mean, they were both good footballers, but they really are ex-bitter bastards, aren't they? I think some players get... and I get it. I do get it. I really do get it. I think that, you know... I mean, I'm not an ex-great footballer, but I kick a ball about with Seb and I'm trying to do things I used to be able to do and I can't do it, and it is frustrating. So I can imagine if you were a really good footballer and you're watching the game going, I could do that better than them, it must make you quite bitter when you can't do it anymore. But to say that Declan Rice's free kicks were easy, well, when was that? If they're so easy, why aren't people scoring 2 worldy free kicks every Champions League game then? I agree with him that we should see more of them. I know watching both free kicks, what Declan Rice does isn't rocket science. He hits it well with good curl on it, but it doesn't happen very often. And I tell you what about Declan Rice, there was no element of fluke to it, because any Arsenal fan will tell you, and Saka's the same, the way Rice and Saka consistently deliver really good, accurate, height-dipping curled free corners is incredible. So when it comes to set pieces, give Rice his flowers. And he knew exactly what he was doing on both of them. Respect and appreciate the work you do. Keep it up, says Abdullah. Thanks, pal. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Let us know where you're watching from. 5 minutes to go here. This would be a good result for Villa. I know it might not feel like it, but it gives you a chance, second leg. I still think at 3-1 there's a slimmer chance, but there is a chance. It's not over yet. Paris, France, Netherlands. Dr. Footyverse says Ansu Fati. What, you live with him? What's he up to now? Gothenburg, Sweden. Stockholm. I love it. I know some of you might be lying, but I do love just reading where people are and thinking, I'd like to go there. With all due respect, Dave, I don't want to be in Stoke. Chicago. I want to go to Chicago. Tapping Merchant says, you and Paul Scholes hate City more than Liverpool. No, that's not true. Liverpool is a credible biggest rival. The Man City thing is just something different. Man City are irritating. Liverpool, like, it's a genuine rivalry. It's a respected rivalry, but it's a genuine rivalry. Who's your favourite Game of Thrones character, says Mads. I don't know, really. Actually, I don't. No tariff for you, Mark, when you come to the USA, says Suleiman. Mark, are you doing the pod again? Loved it, says Joshua. No, I didn't do it this week because I was ill. We'll be back on Monday. Stephen Rossi says maybe Schneider is upset he'll never get that move to United. Quick either or to end the game. 30-yard screamer or dribble past 4 and score in the box, says Hitchin. Individual brilliance goal has beaten team goal by 55% to 45%. Who do you think was the best free kick taker and why? Janino at Lyon, Beckham, Roberto Carlos, any other? I think Beckham was a brilliant free kick taker, and I think he's, for some reason, some of those players have become a little bit underrated, underappreciated. Beckham's free kick ability was incredible. Ryan Giggs was an incredible player as well. What was it? 30-yard screamer or dribble past 4 and score. I do agree with Del Piero, though. Somebody said that. Vendetta. I mean, there was a time where, you know, Italy had Baggio, Signori, Del Piero, another block by Villa, and they seemed to be scoring a free kick every week. Zola. Messi's good at free kicks as well. Mark, you have to see Lamina's, Lamine Yamal, his passes are insane. Now a very good goal, and he's just 17. You sound like you're obsessed, Daniel. Player FC. Yeah, don't forget, tomorrow night we'll be on the United Stand live. Somebody just said, what games are you doing at the weekend? I normally do watch-alongs at the weekend, and I'm definitely going to do Newcastle Man United because it's my team, and also Newcastle are going for top 4. That's on Sunday at 4:30. There's not an amazing amount of games, though. I mean, Wolves, Spurs, not interested in that. Liverpool, West Ham, not interested in that. Chelsea, Ipswich, not interested in that. Saturday, Man City, Palace. Nobody likes watching Man City. I mean, I think that's an interesting game, but it's Man City. It's a very dangerous watch-along to do, Man City. Arsenal, Brentford at 5:30. Again, I don't know that there's a game out there that's really watch-along-esque this weekend. We're getting to that stage. I don't know. Forest, Everton, Brighton, Leicester, Southampton, Villa. They're not that great this weekend. I'll see how I go. Villa Newcastle a week on Saturday is very important in relation to the top 5. It's all about the Champions League at the moment, isn't it? Nakamura was the best free kick taker ever, says Alex. Lindsay Hunt, thanks for your super chat. Peter says, my Liverpool friend said that Liverpool is bigger than Man United. Thoughts? Would you say that Man United is the biggest club in England? Yes, I would, Peter. Watkins has just had a shot over the bar. No, Rogers, sorry. I keep getting Gary Neville ads on your videos, says Oscar. Yeah, well, I'm not apologising for it because it's not what we do. But basically what can happen is advertisers can say, we want to block book out certain channels. We had it in the Euros last summer with Coke Zero. So Marriott Bonvoy hotels, which are very good. I think they've blocked out our channel at the moment. So that can happen. I take it as a compliment. Would you be Seb's agent if he became a pro player, says Garfield? No, I wouldn't. I'd get a good agent for him, and I'd just be an advisor as a parent. I can't stand these parents who micromanage their kids as they're like Mbappe projects. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! In the second minute of added time, it's 3-1 to PSG. Oh, can't speak, mate. I can't speak. So disappointed. Whether it's deserved or not, is it tie over versus United? I mean, it's brilliant by Mendes. It maybe is the best left back in the world. It's not necessarily tie over because if Villa score the first goal at Villa Park, it'll be rocking. But I think at 2-1, they had a real chance. At 3-1, it's going to be an epic night. It's definitely going to be difficult now. PSG are good. Barcelona are good. All 3 goals have been very good. As Branko says, it was a beautiful fat pass and finish. Don't concede again. Whatever you do, do not concede again, because it's definitely over if you do. Oh, Vitina over the bar. Blow your whistle, ref. Blow your whistle. That's a corner. Enrique. 3-1. I'll tell you what, this Champions League is going to be very interesting. Arsenal are so close to knocking Real Madrid out. Barcelona are already through. Inter, Bayern Munich and PSG have got one foot in there as well. I mean, the semi-finals could be very, very interesting indeed. It's been a very, very enjoyable couple of nights. I don't like that result, but it has been a good couple of nights. I'm glad I spent it with you. Arda, welcome to the Members Club. Appreciate that. It's over, says you. No, I don't think it is over because I think 2-0 is always a dangerous score in football. 3-1 is the same as 2-0 gap-wise. Take it to Villa Park. Crowd are up for it. Take it as a 90-minute game. You've got to play a lot better. Score the first goal. 3-2. You're 1 behind and everything changes. So it's not over yet, but the problem is that's assuming Villa are going to attack a lot and have a lot of possession at home. As we saw at Anfield, PSG were bloody good there as well. So that's the problem with Villa. Not only have they got to score a couple of goals, which they can, they've got to wrestle the game. Because if PSG have all the ball again, then it's going to be over. Look, we'll see what happens next Tuesday. Thanks everyone for watching. Absolute legends. Really, really enjoyed the last couple of nights. Obviously, we've got daily content on here as well. We reacted to the news about Salah and Van Dijk earlier. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Fantastic community. Everybody's welcome. Wherever you're watching from. I won't say good night because it could be good morning. It could be good afternoon. But stay safe, whatever you're doing. Really appreciate your company tonight. And United Stand tomorrow night. Don't need to be a United fan to watch that. It's just going to be on the United Stand. Man United, Lyon, in Lyon. Our season depends on it, basically. Anyway, yeah, that won't be a bit stressful. Take care. Speak to you all in a bit. Thanks for watching.